To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
So, my dear children, in the earlier chapter, we discussed about the minerals and rocks. In the first and foremost chapter, we discussed about the first main type of natural resource, which is the water. Now, this is the third chapter. Here we are going to discuss about the third main type of natural resource, which is the trees. Okay, so you know that trees and plants, they grow in our natural environment, right? So these have a much value too, right? These have much value. I mean, like, value is immense in here. So we cradle in different areas within plants and trees. I mean, like, we use different for different areas, we use plants and trees, my dear children. You know that plants and trees going to provide oxygen gas even, right? Which is helpful in respiration for the organisms. Other than that, there are different material use and non-material uses as well. So you are given with a tree in here. Within this tree, you can observe different kinds of, right? Different kinds of users. So let's see what are these users then. So provide various phytochemicals, right? Provide various phytochemicals. That means the plant, we use plants in order to get different kinds of chemicals, right? So in basically, when you take essential oils like cinnamon oil, clove oil, so those things can be considered as chemicals, right? Other than that, to get alcohol, we use plant substances. So like that way, my dear children, there are different kinds of chemicals that we obtain from plants. Then provide raw materials for clothes. You know that plant fibers are the main things that we use to make or use to create cloth, right? Especially in making threads and different other types of clothes, my dear children, we use plant fibers. So in making clothes, we utilize plants. Next one, provide habitats for animals. So it is going to provide habitat for animals. Animals, especially animals like arboreal animals, birds and monkeys, kinds of animals, right? So those animals are going to live mainly around a certain environment where trees and plants are plenty, because those organisms are mainly living on trees. Next one, act as wind barriers. So within the hill areas, these plants and other trees acting as a what? Wind barrier, my dear children. So it helps to break the wind, fast winds which are coming from one certain place to another. Then provide food. You know that plants are the main types of, right, photosynthetic organisms living in our environment. So these are the ones which provide us with food, right? So they provide us with food. The next one, provide fuel. You know that firewood, right? Then biomass, those things are used as or utilized as fuel. Then provide shelters. So provide shelters, right? For organisms, plants and trees can provide shelter, my dear children. Next one, create scenic beauty. So when you go for like gardens, right, especially for botanical gardens, you can observe different trees and plants. Why do you visit those places? Mainly those places are going to calm your mindset, my dear children. And the other thing is that these areas can also, right, these areas can also provide a good scene. I mean, like, it enhance the beauty of that environment. So it will definitely, when you visit those places, it is providing a good, beautiful scenes for your eyes, and for your mind is getting relaxed as well. Okay. Next one, provide medicines. So it provide medicines. So there are several plants and plant materials that we use as medicinal extract to get medicinal extracts. The next one given, help to maintain intermonsoonal rain. So it helps to maintain the intermonsoonal rains. The next one, release of oxygen into the atmosphere. It releases oxygen gas into the atmosphere, right? By the process of photosynthesis. You already know these things. Then reduce carbon dioxide level in air. You know that carbon dioxide is being absorbed. So therefore, carbon dioxide level is getting reduced. Next one given, it supply timber. The wood is going to supply timber. You know that. The next one, prevent drying of soil. It prevents the soil drying. Then prevention of erosion. The roots are also helpful in prevention of erosion. Then reduction of flooding, right? Reduction of flooding. Roots can also help, right, in the reduction of flooding and the accidents create because of the flooding. The next one, reduce landslides. Is also going to reduce the risk of getting landslides. So there are different, right? There are different users of a plant, right? So all of these users are given out by plants, my dear children. So plants are very important natural resource to us. Okay. So here, now you are given with a question. Study the figure well and answer the following questions. Mention 5 material benefits provided to man by plants which are shown in the figure. Material benefits means, my dear children, the plant should provide us with a certain material. Let's see. So, provide raw materials for clothes. That is a material use. Provide raw materials for clothes. Then another material use, my dear children, provide food. Food is a material thing, no? So it provides food. Then, my dear children, provide medicine. Provide medicines, right? Then provide fuel like biomass. Right? Provide fuel. Then, my dear children, mainly it provides what? Provide oxygen gas for respiration, right? Right. So these are several material users of plants. Means that a certain material is given out by the plant. So it provide raw materials for the clothes, provide food and provide medicines, then it provide fuel, then it provide oxygen gas for the respiration purposes. Other than that, my dear children, it provide timber, right? And it provide phytochemicals, right? Then other than that, my dear children, right, you know that these things are going to provide, plants are going to provide different kinds of fibers and other stuff in making different items like papers and so on. So we use these materials in different instances, right? So these are several material users which is given within this figure. Okay, material users which is mentioned within this figure. Right, then mention 5 non-material benefits shown here. Non-material, that means a material is not given. Let's see. So these things, prevention of erosion, a material thing is not given, no. So we can write prevention of soil erosion. Number 2, reducing carbon dioxide gas. Then my dear children, number 3, right, help to maintain intermonsoonal rain. Help to maintain intermonsoonal rains. Then number 4, it provides scenic beauty. It provides scenic beauty. Then my dear children, number 5, provide shelters. Provide shelters. So these are the things, these are the non-material benefits that we obtain from plants given here. Other than that, it reduces landslides and also it prevents the drying of soil, and there are several other things when we take the non-material uses of a plant, my dear children. Okay, non-material uses of a plant. Right then, so when you take a plant, my dear children, we can see or we can observe material benefits and as well as non-material benefits. So plants and trees are very important natural resources. The benefits that we receive from plants and trees, we won't be able to calculate or give out as a number, my dear children. So we receive that much of benefits from these plants and trees. Okay, right then. So let's head on to see the next slide then. Write 3 benefits provided to man by plants which are not mentioned in the figure. Not mentioned in the figure, that means a use, right, which is not given in the figure, right, not a use, but you have write down 3. Okay, when you take a plant, other than these, what are the others, or what are the other uses that we get? Right, so other than that, what are the things which are not given in the figure, my dear children, but what are the benefits which are being provided to the man by plants? Okay, so you have write down 3 of those, but remember those things should not be included within the diagram. But here the thing is that it should be a benefit which is given to the man. Okay, right. Number 1. So you know that there are, now when having plants, okay, or when having different trees, my dear children, it will provide different kinds of fruits for you guys. Okay, so because of having different kinds of fruits, okay, because of providing different kinds of fruits, my dear children, you can create different kinds of chemicals and special kinds of substances, right? So here they have mentioned that providing various phytochemicals, but sometimes we extract these things from the materials given in the from the materials inside the plant. So in providing chemicals and flavors, right? Flavoring components. Curry leaves. Then clove oil. Certain type of a chemical and a certain type of a flavoring component, right? Number 2, right? Number 2, provide so the other thing is that, okay, it is going to provide, my dear children, pure water, right? Because you know that springs and all the other, especially within the hill country, because of the trees and plants, my dear children, springs, right, are being conserved. So mainly because of the plants and trees. So then flowers, fruits used in different decorations, right? In different occasions and in different festivals and cultural events, my dear children, we use some plant parts and flowers also. So flowers, fruits and different kinds of leaves used in different decorations in different events. Then help to provide pure water. It helps to provide pure water, especially they're going to purify spring water. Then in providing chemicals and flavoring components like curry leaves and clove oil, right? So these are like 3 other extra benefits given to the man other than the things given in the figure over here. Okay, my dear children, right? Now let's see what are the other contents. So you are given with a table here. Okay, within this table there are specific plans for certain activities or services. Information on such plans are given in the table. Now for different kinds of services and for different kinds of users, we use different kinds of plants, my dear children. For a certain example, you know that sometimes in wrapping our lunch, we use a special kinds of plant leaves, banana leaves, right? Or else lotus leaves, right? Those are special cases. So we won't be able to use any other leaf, right, in wrapping cases, right? Especially lunch or any other, when making a wrap, right? So using plant leaves, especially food wrap, we won't be able to use any other plant leaf. So those are special cases. Okay, so like that way, for a specific purpose, my dear children, we use a special and a specific plant. So the table shows that kind of a specific plant and the use. Okay, now let's see. Here it is given supplying food. We use paddy, wheat, corn, pulses, yam, fruits and vegetables. So all of these things belong to the category called food because we get nutrition from these things. Next one, provide drinks. Different drinks, my dear children. So what are the drinks? Tea, coffee, polpala, ranavala and wood apple. So ranavara, polpala, I think those things are also having medicinal effects as well. Okay, these things are also having medicinal effects as well, other than tea and coffee. Okay, so those things are very important for our health as well, my dear children. Okay, the next one, supply fuel, coconut, rubber, Girisedia, right? So coconut, rubber and Girisedia, some types of, right, plants that we can use as fuel, my dear children. Okay, fuel means that we can burn the branches and we can burn the firewood obtained from these plants. Next one, for scenic beauty, flowers and other horticulture plants. So you know that plants and other horticulture plants, right, and also flowers and sometimes fruits also we use to get scenic beauty. The next one, for medicine, aralu, bulu, nelli, then katuelbatu, venivel, right, and margosa. There are different kinds of plants and trees which are helpful in getting medicine, my dear children. So they have put etc over there, so there are others as well, right? Then, my dear children, chemicals, to get different kinds of chemicals. Can you remember we wrote down that over there? To get different kinds of chemicals, we use different kinds of plants. Let's see what are those. Kakuna, then pinus, then gammalu, egawud. In Sinhala, it is referred as wallapata. Okay. Next one, raw materials for clothes, cotton, jute and mulberry, right? Next one, to manufacture paper, pinus and paddy. Then supply spices, coriander, curry seed, turmeric, goraka, cumin seed, right? So spices, we wrote down that thing also. Can you remember? The next one, beauty culture substances, turmeric, kokum, sandalwood and aloe, right? So these are different uses that we utilize, right? Okay, or else that we obtain from different plant in our environment. We won't be able to use same kinds of plants when making or when getting different uses, my dear children. For a specific use, there's a specific plant. Okay, so these are those kinds of plants that we use in specific areas. Okay, my dear children, right then. So then you are given with an assignment. Let's see. Display common names and scientific names of plants or trees grown in your school in a suitable manner. Do not harm the trees when labeling them. So here now what you have to do in your school, you have to identify what are the plants, right? What are the plants that is in your school garden. Then first of all, you have to find out the common name given for those plants, the common name which is given for those plants. Then, my dear children, you have to write down. Actually, you can find out it from the internet, and by finding out through the internet, you can mention the scientific name also, and you have to mention the scientific name of the plant, right? So this is the assignment. So I hope that you guys will collect information about the plants in your school garden, and you will label out these things, right? So it's very important to not to harm the plants, my dear children, because it's very important to keep the plant alive when labeling these things. Okay, if the plant is going to die, then there is no use of doing this thing. So make sure not to harm the plant, right? And make sure, right, that the labeling process is carried out without harming the plant. Okay, right. So I hope that you guys will do this thing, right, at your school garden then, right? So now, my dear children, we'll be studying about another special kind of a, right, another special kind of a example, right, or else a type of a substance that we receive from plants. This is timber. So let's see. The oldest building material is timber. Timber is the only building material that could recyclable and renewable. Some special characteristics of timber are as follows. So you know that we use timber or wood in different constructions from ancient times. We use this timber in our different constructions, my dear children, right? So the oldest building material can be considered as timber then. Timber has different properties, my dear children, special properties, characteristics. These are the special characteristics that we can observe within timber. Let's see. Durability means that these things are long lasting. You know that sometimes even your housing roofs, right? Housing roofs, those things are also being constructed mainly from timber, right? Different kinds of timber, right? So therefore, my dear children, those things are long lasting. Now when you take a certain house, it's going to last for about 20 to 25, 30, even more than that. No, however, right, those roofing materials, those wood materials, roofing materials used are not going to be, destroyed for a longer time period. So those things are long lasting. Then resistant to heat, electricity and sound. So it's not going to conduct electricity, it's not going to conduct heat, and it's not going to conduct sound as well. I mean, like, sound waves are not getting through it easily. So electricity is not getting conducted at all. So therefore, there is also a added advantage. Okay. Next one, ability of creating attractive patterns due to the streak and the color. So it has a certain streak, no? Each and every wood has a certain streak, and each and every wood item has a certain unique color. When you take jack, right? You take jack wood, it has a unique yellowish kind of a color. Okay, so like that way, when you take ebony, it has a unique black color nature. So therefore, my dear children, so in each and every purposes, I mean, like, each and every case, we can use different kinds of wood and plant items or timber, right, in making our day-to-day materials like tables, chairs, and sometimes for our tiling materials, as our ground tiling materials, we use these layers of timber, right? So we can polish these things and we can use it. So these are several special characteristics that we can observe within timber, a kind of a special material, a very valuable substance which we receive from the plants or trees. Then ancient times, Sri Lanka was famous for valuable timber. Timber like ebony, satinwood, and calamander wood, which were in the dry zone of our country, were extensively used by colonial rulers to manufacture furniture. Now such types of timber are very rare in the country. Now in the earlier times, my dear children, different kinds of timber were utilized by the people, actually ancient people, like calamander, then satinwood, then ebony are some such trees. Okay, however, when you come into present, these kinds of trees are now very rare to find. Materials which are made, or the objects which are made by these kind of trees, are now much expensive, my dear children, because of the rare nature of these wood or timber, right? So these are much expensive in nowadays within our present life. When you take a cupboard or else an almirah, right, which is made up of these kinds of trees, it's going to be very very costly, right? When you take the price of these things, right, it is going to be very costly. So nowadays, in making these instruments like cupboards and almirahs, people are searching for several alternatives like iron and wooden sheets and so on. Okay, however, the thing is, my dear children, their durability is going to be very less, right? if you use these kinds of materials, these kinds of timber, then those things are long lasting. But however, those substitutes are not that much durable. Okay. Then, therefore, existing amount of timber should be used with maximum efficiency. Selection of timber according to the durability which is needed for different users of timber will lead to a sustainable utilization of timber that brings economical advantage. So, now you know that there is very less amount of timber, like important timber in our environment now, especially in Sri Lanka. So therefore, the remaining ones should be used with, they should be used economically, right? Or we should have to use these things, right? In important cases only. We should not destroy the remaining plants. If so, there is a risk in extinction of these plants from a certain environment. Okay. So there are some plants even which are endemic to Sri Lanka. Right. Actually, these plants are somewhat endemic to Sri Lanka as well. So if these plants are now eradicated from Sri Lanka, then we won't be able to find out those things from any other environments. Okay. Right then. So we have to do, we have to select, what we have to do is we have to select timber according to the durability, right? Then, which is needed for the different uses of timber and will lead to a sustainable utilization of timber that brings to economical advantage. Then the other thing is that, my dear children, we have to use these timber in order to get an economical advantage now. So therefore, we have to utilize these materials or these substances in a sustainable manner actually, right? In a sustainable manner means, my dear children, our main idea is to protect these remaining ones and to utilize these things, right? And we have to protect and also we have to utilize these things. I'm not talking that we have to keep these things away from our, we have to protect these things without using. We have to use, but however, right, we have to protect too. Okay, means it will definitely lead into what? It will definitely lead into sustainable utilization. That is what do you mean by, right, the economical use. Okay, so here diversity of timber in Sri Lanka is very high. We have more than 400 kinds of plants in our country that can be used for timber. So my dear children, the other thing is that when you take Sri Lanka, there are like 400 different kinds of timber plants, right? We receive timber from different kinds of plants, right? And there are like 400 kinds of those plants which we receive timber from, okay, in Sri Lanka, right? Then once again you are given with an assignment. Let's see. Take leaves of plants in your area that can be used for timber. Insert the leaves between 2 pages of paper to press. Make a booklet using pressed leaves. Make sure not to harm the plants when taking the leaves. So what you have to do here is you have to find out certain plants, my dear children, that can be used as timber. Then take a leaf of that plant. Press it by keeping inside a book. Then take it out and paste it in your book, my dear children, or else you can take a separate book and you can paste it. Then you write down the name of the plant. By that way, you can prepare a certain booklet that has leaves of different kinds of plants which can be used in making what? In making timber. Okay, valuable timber. So I hope that you guys will follow up these assignments. We have found out with several assignments now, my dear children. So I hope that you guys will follow up with these assignments and you will do these things at your home. Okay, right? So this is the assignment. So it's your responsibility to do these things, right? Okay. Then, my dear children, given under the extra knowledge, State Timber Corporation has more than 250 samples of Sri Lankan timber. Now, State Timber Corporation, that's the Sri Lankan corporation related to the timber process. So it has like 250 samples of Sri Lankan timber, right? So these are such samples: satinwood, nedun, kolong, kubuk and mango. So these are the samples of those timber, my dear children. Right? Okay, then you are given with an activity. Let's see what is that. Study of various types of timber. Collect samples of various types of timber. Note down their color. Test whether they have any odor. Find out the users of those types of timber. Find out whether there is any specific use of any of these types of timber. Present your findings attractively. So, you need to, actually this is like an assignment, right? So, what you have to do here is, you have to find out different kinds of timbers. Sample is enough. Then what you have to do? You have to find out the special properties, then the special characteristics. If it is giving out a certain order, then you have to find out those things. Then, my dear children, what are the places we are utilizing this timber, right? Like that, you have to collect a certain report about each and every timber type which you have collected. Okay, then what you have to do? You have to present this thing at your school in your classroom. So this is your activity then. So it is same like an assignment which we discussed previously. So there is within this lesson there are like huge works to do for you guys. So it's very important to do these works, my dear children, right? By that way you can get a good even extra knowledge for, right, related to the lesson parts. Okay, so I hope that you guys will follow up these activities and assignments and you will do it at your home, my dear children. Okay, right then here it is given specific use of some types of timber. Specific use, that means, can you remember when we are discussing about the plants, we discussed that some plants are being used in some occasions, no, some special occasions only. In the same way, my dear children, the timber types that we have, we cannot use those things for each and every purpose that we are going to do in our day-to-day life. However, there are certain specific plants or specific timber types which we can use. Okay, for certain example, to make a strong door, we won't be able to use rubber. We have to use jack, naduno, ebony kind of plants or kind of wood, my dear children. Okay, plant wood, right, or else timber. It's because hardness is not a factor that can be identified in rubber timber. Okay, so like that way there are unique factors which we can observe within unique timber. Okay, so within the plants they have these features, so we'll be identifying about those characteristics right now there. Okay, so first one given, jack timber is used for front doors of houses because of the strength, durability and shine. So like I said, jack timber is used for the front doors of several, like for each and every house. For doors we use jack timber or any other kind of a strong timber, my dear children, especially because of the strength and the unique color and the long lasting ability or the durability. Okay, next one, Persian lilac, lunumidilla, is timber used for ceilings because it is very light. So lunumidilla is a type of a timber, right, that we used in very vast areas, right? Means that now let's imagine that we're going to create a certain wooden house. In that case, for the walls we can use lunumidilla because it is very light in weight, and even for ceilings in houses we use lunumidilla timber because of the lightweightness. Okay, the next one, Panakka timber is used for making umbrellas because of the stem of Panakka is thin and straight. So because of having thin and straight timber, right, the Panakka is being used in making umbrella, my dear children. It is thin and straight. Okay, the next one, ancient times pegs made of ega wood, Vallapata, timber are used in split granite rocks. So pegs made out of ega wood. So ega wood timber can be used to make pegs, my dear children. So these pegs are so strong that they can even be used to split granite rocks. Okay, so pegs are also being constructed by different kinds of wood or else timber like agar wood in order to split rocks. Okay, next one, horror timber is used for underwater structures because it lasts long underwater. So horror is a special kind of a timber that we used in underwater structures, right? Underwater structures, because it can last very long time within water. Special features, very special features. Now jack kind of a plant, we won't be able to use it, use that thing within water for long time period, right? It will decay down quickly. But however, this horror timber can be used. Okay. Next one, Rukkattana timber is used to crave masks because of the lightness and workability. Now, Rukkattana is also a very lightweight timber, my dear children. So, therefore, it is being used to make masks, right? Face mask. In making face mask, we can use these Rukkattana timber. Okay. Next one. Paramara timber is suitable to make frame of rabana because its lightness and sonorous, right? Sonorousness. Because now sonorousness means, my dear children, it is giving out a ringing sound when struck. So that Paramara, right? Paramara plant or the timber has that unique feature, right? The sonority, sonorousness. And also, my dear children, it has a good durability too, and it has a light weight. So therefore, to make the frame of rabana and drums, special drums, this Paramara timber is being utilized. Okay. The next one given, Alexandrian laurel, Domber timber is resistant to vibrations, bending and twisting. Therefore, it is used to therefore it is used for masts of yachts, neck pole of bullocks, carts and yoke pole of plows. So Alexandrian laurel, Domber, is very strong, my dear children, and it is resistant to vibrations. So it is being used in masts of yachts, then yoke pole of plows, and also neck poles of bullock carts, right? As it is very strong and pretty much resistant to vibrations. So these are several special, right, special cases and special characteristics of different timber, my dear children. Okay, so each and every timber, we won't be able to utilize those things in like in a in the same timber cannot be used in different cases. There are special cases. Special cases means special applications of these each and every timber types, my dear children, right? So we have to utilize these things according to their special feature. So like I said, we won't be able to use rubber or lunumidella plant, right, or rubber or lunumidella plant wood in making front doors of a house. It's because those things are not that much strong. In making those things, we have to use jack, nadun or satin wood, like that way, a strong bit of a, right, wood. Okay, so like that way, these things reflects their special features and the places which these things are being used. Okay, so I hope that, my dear children, you got the idea about the timber and the special features related to each and every timber types. Okay, right then. So wooden bridge of Bogode under extra knowledge given. Let's see. The bridge is located in Haliyala Badulla district. Even though it is about 400 years old, still it is in use. So this is a wooden bridge, my dear children. So it is like 400 years old. So even though it is 400 years old, it is still being used by the people, right? So this is the Bogode bridge, wooden bridge, which can be observed in Haliyala Badulla district. So jack and kubuk timber were used to construct this bridge. Wooden nails were used to connect it beams. Ebony, miller, right, timber were used for its wood carvings. So ebony and miller, jack and kubuk are the main types of wood which has been used in making this wooden bridge of Bogoda, my dear children. So so it has a very vast history, my dear children. I mean, like, the age of this bridge is around 400 years, even though, right, it is been still in use. So check the durability. So if it is made up with iron or any other metallic substance, then we won't be able to use it. Definitely we should have to repair it at least. But however, this bridge is still in the same strength, still in the same capability, and still the people are using this thing, my dear children, even though 400 years have been passed. So timber which have been used in these cases are very strong, and those things are long lasting. Okay, right, then another assignment, my dear children. So there are like a large number of assignments you need to do within this lesson part. All of these things should be carried out by you guys. So I'm just giving so sometimes I won't be able to help you guys at all, but however, I hope that you guys will follow up these things at your home and you will do. Okay, so it's important to do these things, my dear children. Okay, I know that it's somewhat difficult, but however, try to do these things. Right, let's see what is the assignment then. Prepare a collection of information about plants used for specific purpose. Get the assistance of the elders of your area for this task. Now, in the same way which is given in the previous chapter, my dear children, chapter means previous slides, what you have to do, you have to find out certain plant types and timber which used in different special occasions and their special users. So you can get the help of your elders when doing this assignment. Okay, so don't write the things included in your book, try to find out new things. So I hope that you guys will find out these things, my dear children. Okay, right, then my dear children, given a special topic, decaying of timber. Decaying of timber, right, my dear children. So the decaying, what do you mean by decaying, my dear children? Now decaying means in here, right, what will happen? The timber will, right, the timber will decay, or else it get degraded because of several reasons, right? And because of degradation, the strength of the timber will get reduced. So my dear children, we'll be investigating what is the reason for this decaying of timber. Okay, now let's see. Actually, there are several reasons. So when you are studying within this, when you are studying the chapter, you will learn what are the reasons for the decaying of timber. Let's see. So fungi can grow inside the timber. Timber is decayed because of the degradation of complex carbohydrates which timber are made of due to activity of enzymes secreted by those fungi. So carbohydrates are the ones which creates timber. Special kinds of strong carbohydrates, my dear children, they would create timber. Then the other thing is that the decaying of timber happens mainly because, right, mainly because of fungi. Now fungi and other kinds of microorganisms, they secrete different kinds of enzymes to the timber, and because of that, my dear children, right, these carbohydrates are getting broken down into other kinds of compounds. So therefore what will happen? The decaying of timber will occur, right? So here it is given, fungi can retain inactively even for many years inside timber. They grow when favorable conditions are available. Such favorable conditions are the presence of oxygen, moisture, and nutrients. Out of those, the most important factor is the moisture. Though other factors are available, fungi do not grow in the absence of moisture. So you know that temperature and moisture are the two main important facts which is important for the growth of microorganisms. Especially for the fungi, moisture is very important for the growth of fungi. So timber is getting destroyed mainly because of the fungi, no? So if moisture is not there, then fungi will not grow. And if fungi will not grow within a certain material, especially in timber, then my dear children, we can avoid the decaying of timber, right? Then food is stored in some cells of tissues of timber. Timber can be destroyed by termites and weevils who come in search of food. So in some timber, my dear children, now I told you that these things are made up with special kinds of carbohydrates, no? So in some timber, there are food stored within special tissues. So some special organisms like weevils and termites, they might harm the timber and they might eat the food items contained within timber. So in that case also, timber is getting wasted. Okay, right then. So you are given with certain fungi that grow on timber, and this is a weevil, right, that bores timber, right? That means here it is an enlarged picture can be observed, and the termites, termite colonies. So termites that make the timber decay, so they will eat the timber, my dear children, and because of that, what will happen? The timber will get decay down very quickly. Okay, so these are some organisms that harms the timber. Right, now we know that timber is getting decayed because of macro and microorganisms both. Macroorganisms are weevils and termites. Microorganisms are mainly fungi, and moisture is the main reason for the destruction, right? Moisture is the one which attracts the fungus on timber. Okay, right. So prevention from timber being decayed. Now what we can do to prevent the decaying? Let's see. Long-lasting types of timber were abundant in ancient Sri Lanka. Therefore, timber preservation methods are not necessary. With the increase of human population and human needs, such types of timber have become very rare due to overusage. Example, timber like ebony, nadun, teak are now classified as luxurious types of timber. Now, my dear children, like I said when I was starting the lesson part, I told you that during the ancient time period, we had enough timber. But with the increasement of the population, my dear children, right, what has happened? Because of the overusage of timber, now we don't have enough amount of timber which needed to be utilized in places. So therefore, there are some certain types of timber which are very rare. So some timbers are now very luxurious. What are the examples? See, timber like ebony, adun, teak are now classified as very luxurious, right? They are very luxurious timber, my dear children. That means for the normal people, like average people will not be able to bear the cost of these timber, my dear children. Okay, the cost of timber is very high in these cases. Okay, that's why it is classified as luxurious timber, right? Therefore, we are compelled to use fast growing types of timber like rubber, Persian lilac, mango, Estonia, eucalyptus and pinus. But such types of timber do not last long in the environmental conditions of our country. They are easily damaged by insects and fungi. Therefore, we have to use wood preservative methods. Now, the other case. Now, those kinds of timber is, even though those kinds of timber are long lasting, my dear children, like the ancient ones, right, like Nadun and Ebnian or other things, right, even though those things are long lasting, due to luxurious nature or due to luxurious effect, we won't be able to use in each and every house. So therefore we have to go for the alternatives. Then alternative plants are, or alternative for timber are found in everywhere. But the thing is that these timber are not that much long lasting. So weather in our Sri Lanka and the climatic conditions in our Sri Lanka also, right, giving out a certain support for the decaying of timber as well, right? So these things, especially these plants like what? Persian lilac, rubber, mango, astonia, eucalyptus and pinus. These are somewhat strong, but however, the thing is they get decay down very quickly and their durability of those things are also very less because of the climatic conditions and other reasons. So what we have to do is we have to protect these things and we have to apply wood preservation methods in order to safeguard these timber. Okay. So generally the heartwood of a tree lasts longer than its alburnum. Therefore, heartwood of a tree should be used when making furniture to minimize them from decaying. So heartwood of the timber is the one which we need to utilize because heartwood is not getting decayed very quickly, right? So it's long lasting than the alburnum, my dear children. Okay, right. Then methods of preventing the decaying of timber. What are the methods that we can use to stop the wood decaying? Let's see. Number one, prevention of absorbing moisture into timber. Very simple. By the prevention of absorbing moisture into timber, my dear children, we can avoid the action of fungi. So by that way, we can preserve timber. Okay. Next one, seasoning of timber. Seasoning. We can season timber, right? By that way, we can protect it. Next one, usage of wood preservatives. That means by applying different kinds of chemicals and other substances, right? We can protect timber. That is the next one. Then the methods. Let's see. Number one given, prevention of absorbing moisture into timber. Moisture absorbing into timber can be prevented by applying enamel paint on them. Now, in your school, right? Sometimes in your home as well, there are some tables and chairs which are applied with paints, right? And also those things are made up with wood, my dear children, or else timber. So we apply enamel paint in order to stop, right, in order to stop the absorption of moisture into timber. Okay, so by stopping it or by avoiding the absorption of moisture, we can avoid, right, we can avoid the action of fungi on timber. By that way, we can conserve timber, my dear children. Okay, right. Then the second one, seasoning of timber. Let's see, what do you mean by seasoning then? Timber can be seasoned by allowing it to dry slowly in controlled conditions. Timber can be kept for long time by reducing the moisture content below 20%. Now here seasoning means we are drying out the timber in controlled conditions. Okay. By that way, my dear children, we can minimize the decaying of timber. Okay, if we can minimize if we can reduce the amount of moisture content below 20%, then my dear children, what we can do, we can keep timber for long time period. Okay, because you know that for the action of fungi, moisture is very important. So by eliminating moisture, we can keep or we can protect timber for long time period. Next one, you can get a knowledge of this method by observing timber stores or carpenter's workshop, right? So this is how the seasoning is being done. If you want to get even more information, then you can, visit a certain place, a wood shop or else a carpenter. Then you can ask how the seasoning is being carried out. Okay, so wood seasoning is being carried out like this under controlled conditions, my dear children. It is being placed like in piles and drying out. Okay, so this drying will help to avoid the action of fungi and the decaying process will be delayed right there. Then the third one, usage of wood preservatives. timber can be preserved for long time by soaking in suitable chemicals. One such chemical is creosote, right? So one such chemical is creosote, which is extracted from coal. This chemical is used by State Timber Corporation when they are treating sleepers for railway lines and wooden electrical posts. So creosote is a one kind of a chemical that we extract from mineral oil, right? Mineral oil, minerals means actually in here we extract it from coal, right? So you know that coal is a mineral, right? We receive that thing from the soil, no? So it can be considered as a mineral. Actually it belongs to the category called petroleum substance, no, right? It's a petroleum fuel, so it can be considered as a mineral oil, right? So creosote is a certain example for a chemical which can be applied to protect these timber. So it is extracted from coal, and this chemical is used by State Timber Corporation when they are treating sleepers for railway constructions. So in railways, you know that there are sleepers, no, right, made up with timber. So sleepers are being applied with this creosote. Then the other thing is wooden electrical post. In that case also we apply this creosote. So it will help to, right, slow down the decaying process. Okay, my dear children. Right, then the second method of the preservation, right, I mean wood preservative methods, the chemical usage, the second one. So boron treatment is done for longer life of rubber and pinus timber. Here the timber is soaked in a mixture of boric acid and borax and a fungicide. So boron treatment is carried out by different other kinds of timber like pinus and rubber. Here the timber is soaked in a mixture of boric acid, borax and a particular fungicide, right? Then here when this timber is soaked in this kind of a mixture, my dear children, what will happen? You know, if fungicide is being used, fungus are going to die for sure. So then by that way we can protect timber. Okay. The next one, forest conservation is promoted by proper usage and preservation of timber, right? So forest conservation is promoted by proper usage and preservation of timber. You know that timber is very important for us. So if timber is that much important, we should not waste those things. We have to conserve it. And the other thing is that by conserving timber, the need of timber is getting reduced, no? So that means forest cover is also getting protected, my dear children. Okay. Then increase in the lifetime of timber can be reduced tree felling. Okay. So increase in the lifetime of timber can be reduced tree felling. Water, minerals and rocks, plants and timber are our valuable resources. So therefore it is our responsibility to use them sustainably while leaving their potential of existence for the next generations to come. So all of these things that we have learned within this lesson part, my dear children, natural resources, those things are very valuable for us. That means those things are even more valuable for the next upcoming future. So it's our main responsibility to protect these things. Okay. Right, so we have discussed all the things related to the lesson part now, my dear children. So let's go and check the summary of our lesson. So water, minerals and rocks, plants and timber are some examples for natural resources. So for natural resources, these are the examples: water, minerals, rocks, plants and timber. Okay. Construction of wavers and using rainwater collected in tanks are two methods practiced by man for sustainable use of water. Now for the sustainable use of water, right, we can utilize what? Construction of waver and rainwater collection centers. Okay. Next one, minerals like gems are separated from other soil particles by sifting. So we discussed that minerals, right, like gems are being separated from other substances by the method called sifting, right? Then hardness, resistance to be worn out, and high refractive index are some identical properties of gems. So when you take gems, my dear children, it has different identical or special characteristics like hardness, then resistant to be worn out, then high refractive index, and the unique color. So those features are very special characteristics, right, for a gem, my dear children. Okay. Then gem pits have adversely affected the environment and man. So we discussed several problems related to the gem industry, and then over there we discuss several incidents which will arise because of the gem industry. So those things will eventually harm the environment and as well as man. Okay. Next one, a large number of plants that can be used for various purposes are found in Sri Lanka. So there are large number of plants that can be used for various purposes, right? So these plants are found in Sri Lanka. Okay, we discuss those things with examples. Next one, hundreds of timber plants are found in Sri Lanka and are used for various purposes. So hundreds of timber plants are found in Sri Lanka and are used for various purposes. So there are several timber plants which are used in Sri Lanka, and those things are being utilized in various purposes, my dear children. Then timber is destroyed by fungi and insects. Finally, we discussed that timber is getting destroyed mainly because of the action of fungi and insects. Then there are several methods to prevent decaying of timber. So we discussed that. Finally, there are different methods like, applying certain chemicals, then seasoning, then applying fungicide and so on. Like that way, there are different kinds of methods to save timber. Then, my dear children, natural resources should be used sustainably for the fulfillment of the future generations, right? For the fulfillment of the future generations, it's very important. It's quite important to use these things sustainably, use these natural resources sustainably, and we have to safeguard our natural resources. So with that one, my dear children, I'm going to finish up this chapter. So we have discussed all the theoretical things related to the lesson part, right? Within our next chapter, we'll discuss the questions related to the lesson, right? First of all, we'll be starting the questions in your textbook. Then we'll be discussing several extra questions. Okay. So till then, it's time to say goodbye then. Okay. So don't miss out these special 2 chapters which is coming after this one, my dear children, because questions are very important in order to replenish your knowledge. So I hope that you guys will stick with me till the end of the last 2 chapters as well, in order to get a good sound knowledge about the final lesson in your syllabus. Okay, so we'll meet you with the extra questions in next 2 chapters.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.